Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. Live from Los Angeles, actor, producer, director, loving father.
Oh,
Yeah, I know about your relationship with your son, man. Boy, y'all be popping for real, man. Y'all do it like a Geo.
that's
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, Raw Fegan. What's up, King?
What's up, my brother Willie D?
Say, man, I hope you take this the right way, man. One of the unsung heroes in this game called Hollywood, right? In, in
Yeah,
this in this game called the music industry.
yeah.
Man, you don't miss. You do not miss. You know what I'm talking about?
Now,
Man, hey, hey, say, man, first and foremost, man, you've had an incredible run, man. You started acting when?
when I was 8 years old.
8 years old. And you've been in quite a few, like, not just films, but like memorable films. And one of the one of my greatest all-time favorites, I gotta ask you about this powerful scene in the Five Heartbeats, man.
Okay.
Yeah, uh, Hawthorne James, who you played opposite of in the particular scene that I'm talking about, uh, uh, is a good friend of mine, right? And
Awesome.
so we talk a lot, right? And he knows that scene is like my all-time favorite scene. That was a very intense scene, and what I want to know is, how did you prepare for that scene? Like, did you have to have an out of body experience or something to really deliver that? I mean, what did you do to get yourself ready for such a powerful scene?
Nothing. I prepare as an actor simply by um, reading my script and taking on any character in a believable way that makes sense how I would play it as a real person.
Yeah,
I believe as a director, an acting coach, talent should approach everything real. And so when you're working with great actors and you have a great script, you just get into it and then the punches literally start and the throwing around and the intensity, me coming from the hood myself, can emote. And you
yeah,
just take it, Willie. You just roll with what's real. And when those emotions start moving, you've made a connection with reality of, okay, either I'm gonna kick some ass or get my ass kicked. And the reacting of it all is, what is acting? And people don't know it as they think it's a bunch of words, but acting is reacting. So working with great
uh,
actors like Hawthorne and directors like Robert Townsend, you just react and you get the best. And that's what I did.
boy, you reacted like a motherfucker, man. I'm talking about, like, that was so believable. Shit, I thought he was gonna throw me off the damn over,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
I like, man, please don't throw me, man.
my
It was.
mom didn't like that scene. She said she hated that scene because it was so real.
Yeah, and I loved it because it was so real. Because I could absolutely relate to that scene, and that's what I think, for me, that was the connection. Both of you guys, the way y'all played off of each other, like, did you? I'm assuming that you got some energy from him, and he got some energy from you, because y'all were like boom, 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 boom. Like, it was like a heavyweight boxing match, 15 round, man. That scene was perfectly orchestrated. Was there anything going on off camera that made for like a good scene that perhaps got cut out, that you thought that was going to make the cut, but we didn't get a chance to see it?
Yeah, one of my other songs. Funny story. I was working with Brother Townsend, and I had these awesome songs in the movie, and I was like, wow, this is a great part because I get to really sing and act up and clown and do some drama at the same time.
Mhm.
And they would put this wardrobe on you, the blue suit or the white feather thing I sung, the song Baby Stop Running Around. But there was this one scene where I had the blue on and I forgot the song. And it was a great song because all the songs are great, as you know.
Mhm.
And I said, kidding, Robert, don't cut this. Don't cut this. This is a good one. Oh no, no, I'm not gonna cut that song. And that song got cut. And I was like, yo, you cut my second song, bro. What's up? And for me, it was all ego because you know you want to keep all your scenes in.
Right.
The movie ran long, so they had to cut somewhere, and uh, I felt bad because I was like, yo, I want to see all my stuff. I don't want nothing to get cut. I don't want nothing to get cut. Keep me in everything. But, you know, being a professional, you get over it quick or you don't dote on it. So I moved on.
Right. Right. You and Robert, y'all have done a lot of movies together. Y'all did, uh, y'all did, obviously the Five Heartbeats. Y'all did
Right.
Hollywood Shuffle. I'm gonna get you sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that y'all work so frequently together. I'm assuming that y'all have a friendship. Are y'all good friends?
Yeah. I call him
Okay.
RT. He trusts me as an actor, and we met on a Taco Bell audition.
Okay.
And funny story, it was my birthday, and it was, you know, hundreds of actors for the part. I don't know if this was a callback. This is the first time me meeting Robert. And so I'm telling the clients, yo, it's my birthday. And you could, you know, see they didn't care. They didn't give a shit. And I'm quick. I'm funny. I'm energetic like Townsend. And he said, yeah, it's my birthday too. And I was like, yo, it's your birthday too. We laughed, slapped five, and that was more energy. So the clients kind of perked up, like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Two birthdays at one day. So, so me, you know, me and Townsend was bonding in the interview. And okay, see you guys, you know, playing the game with the, you know, the audition game, the actor game. And I remember the door opening and I think Townsend was in front of me. I said, wow. Click, door closed behind me. Crazy, it's your birthday too. His face went to serious. He was like, it's not my birthday. And I was like, yo, man, what was that? He was just clowning. And he went on to tell me how funny he thought I was and quick I was. And he's met a lot of actors and he's got this movie and he thinks that I'm a total talent. And I want to work with you, man. Your energy is crazy. And that was Hollywood Shuffle, and that's how God blessed me with Hollywood Shuffle.
Wow, man.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is, man. How do you like how do you balance the dichotomy of being friends with Robert and
Mm.
in on the flip side of that, taking directions from him when you're acting, when you're working?
For me, because I, by the grace of God, been doing this so long, um, as a man, I have an ego. I've tamed it by the grace of God. But as a man, I've, you know, adjusted that ego. But as an actor, I always allow the director to be the director and submit. And I don't care if you're my friend, I was able to do that. As a young director and a person very creative, I noticed that everyone wants to be a director in a room, which I hate. Everyone has ideas and they want to blurt them out. There's only one director in the room. And when you create this confusion, it gets really crazy. So I was cool with Robert being a director because he was a great director. He knew what he wanted, and you could see his vision through how he looked up and expressed himself. And we just connected, you know, as artists. But you could see he knew what he was talking about. And he also foresaw that this was going to be a classic. So he put positive energy into it's a classic, and you could see it in the script. But he also had the vision, and I trusted his vision. However, if someone doesn't have a vision and something is wrong out of discernment, that's when my ego kicks back in, and I say, "You full of shit. I'm out."
Yeah.
I cut it. I shut it down. If it's not right, it's not my time to ruin everything I've worked toward if you're going to waste my time and you're not committed. And Robert was committed. I trusted him. But now, as a producer, I did get a phone call from him after the movie was made, or I don't know if it was that movie. I think it was another movie. I think it was Meteor Man. And he said, I got some good news
Simon,
and bad.
look. Simon,
Yeah, that's
look.
Yeah, that was Bobby McGee's part. And the way you said it, I thought Bobby was in the room for a minute because I was like, whoa, that sounds just like Bobby for a minute. But when when that call came in, I was laying on my mom's bed. Never forget this. He said, I got some good news and some bad news. I said, so what is it? So you're playing another part. Um, the good news is you're working with Denzel Washington. The bad news is he's doing your part. I said, what's the good news again? I love Denzel to this day, but I was like, what? What's the good news again? Yeah, what's the good news? I remember saying that too, because, I'm a shit talker. But I was like, what's the good news again? And he was like, you're working with Denzel Washington. We were able to move things around. He's doing another movie with Spike Lee. Um, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, this is not great. I want my part. I want my part back. And he was like, no, 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 you don't understand. This is whatever, a bigger move for you to work with such a huge talent. I said, I love that, but I want my part back. And so he was like, oh, wait a minute, we call you back. So I don't know really what happened with the call back, but I talked to him the next day or whatever, that evening or whatever it was. And he's like, oh, Denzel can't do it now. You got your part back. I wrote it for you. I wrote it for Denzel. I wrote it for you. I was like, you write it for me or Denzel or what? I wasn't sure, but I was just honored to get my part back. And I think Denzel had, what was the Spike Lee movie at that time where Denzel had to do his hair?
Do the right thing. No. Oh, you're talking
Uh,
about Malcolm X. Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Yeah. So
Yeah.
whatever the discrepancy was with hair, because remember they had to bleach blonde my hair.
Yeah.
And everything almost I've done with Robert. Remember they had to fry, my hair in the 5 heartbeats. Yeah. So everything was a hair thing. That's why it's a little thin, but I'm still in the game, baby. I'm still here. But I'm still here, baby boy. I'm still here. But I remember, I think the next call from Brother Townsend was, I think you should take no billing. And to answer your question, as a friend, we're talking like me and you homies. I know we got a story that you and I work together. We got to talk about. But as a friend, when he told me, I think you should take no billing for Meteor Man. I said, what you talking about, man? He said, I think you should take no billing. They're going to wonder who you are. All these stars, Luther Vandross, James Earl Jones, Marla Gibbs, Robert Guillaume, all these musical guests, Biz Markie, Big Daddy Kane, they're going to wonder who you are as the lead villain. I said, no, they're not going to wonder because my name going to be on that screen. That's some bullshit. So he was like, no, you don't understand, Fegan. This is a good move. I said, nah, homie, that ain't it. So as a friend, I'm able to talk to him instead of some agent or some whatever. I got the term back then, the GOD agency, because people would always say, who's your agent? How are you getting all these parts? And I would literally say the GOD agency. And they would go, oh, I got to get with them. Nobody caught on that I'm talking about God.
Right.
So I was blessed. I was blessed. Definitely still blessed.
Speaking of Denzel, man, what do you think about Denzel headline news recently, where he talked about um, being playing the role in Gladiator 2, and he revealed that he kissed a dude in that film. Did you hear about that?
I heard about that. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know why he talked about that, but whatever reason, that's a macho man that has maintained a macho family image for so long. He's a businessman, he's a producer, he's a father, he's a husband. I don't know why he brought it up, but sometimes when you're that ahead of the game, you bring it up so nobody else bring it up in the wrong way. So I think
Yeah.
he beat them to the punch. And I think everything I've seen him talk about and do has been on the one. So I can't hate on nothing he says. He's a brilliant actor as well as a director and as a family man. I already know he put it out there before somebody else can put it out. Whatever way it was done, from what I heard back then, that's what they did. I was not there. I'm not in the movie, and I don't know why he did that other than maybe no one could now print that other than him saying it. No one could put that out like, oh, that's not news anymore. He killed that. So I don't know why he did it, but maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. We can't have Denzel doing that shit, man. You know, I hear you, man, but like,
I don't know.
I'm
I
like,
don't know.
like, Denzel. The way I look at Denzel is like Denzel. For us, we get very few positive representations of manhood. On
Yeah,
Hollywood.
yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Denzel has, as far as like being one of the most successful, he's a name that can easily pop out because of his success, right?
yeah,
Not,
yes,
because of his success, he's one of the first names that come to mind when you start talking
right,
about Black Hollywood and
right,
actors.
right,
And so
right, right.
Denzel has always had that aura of, man, Denzel been solid a long ass time. He ain't never been
Right.
on he ain't never been on no goofy shit. And then all of a sudden, Denzel is 69 years old, and then he's talking about kissing a man in a movie. We can't have that. We're gonna have to do something about that. We're gonna have to find that clip. I know they put it out, but I know it
What
lives
you
on.
gonna do?
We're
What
gonna
you
have to
gonna do
find
when you
that clip.
find it?
We're gonna have to find that clip and destroy it, bro. You know what I'm talking about?
All
You
right,
know,
well, I'm with you on that. Let's find that clip and
yeah.
destroy it and burn
Hey,
it. Burn it
hey,
down.
thug lifestyle.
Let's segues, baby. Hey, but make sure when you find it, you don't have the guy after he's murdered and slashed in the neck, in the
Yeah,
throat, hiding under the shot where he's still being revealed as dead, but
right.
still in the shot. And your ass was the one that cut my throat in that movie. And I thought that was pretty interesting that your ass was in the car. I was talking about your ass, and it was a setup, and you come and slit my throat. And now the scene after is a fight scene. I guess you were in there. I'm not sure. I'm kneeling down out of the shot, supposed to be dead, bloody in a white suit, watching the shit, and I'm supposed to be dead. I see the shit and go, how the hell am I in the shot, in the wide shot, and why did they keep it? And I'm in your city. I'm in Houston, remember?
say, man, look here, man. You probably don't know, man, but the way I got it, the way I even ended up in the film, man. I, I ended up in the film on the same day that we thought we was shooting. The day that we shot
was crazy.
The day that we shot was when I negotiated my way into the
Oh, well, that says a lot about what happened. Oh shit.
Yeah, so
and they said
yeah,
Willie D is playing this part. Willie D, and then in the script, he's gonna cut your throat and here's some blood, and then boom. I said, oh, that's cool. My mind is playing tricks on me. And I'm like, Ghetto Boys, you know, oh, this is awesome. And I think what was the lady who?
Radio Rage.
Lady of Rage was in it, and my boy Thomas Miles
Napoleon.
and and Napoleon. Hey man, I was like, everything is cool for me until I saw a wide shot of me kneeling down, and I was supposed to be dead, and I'm in the shot in a bloody white suit watching the scene, and it stayed in the movie.
Say,
And I
man,
said, Lord, what happened?
Tubi, Tubi stole their whole identity from that film.
We were pre-Tubi. We were ahead of Tubi. We were UB Tubi. Like YouTube, we were UB
Yeah.
Tubi. We were ahead of the game, bro. And by the way, that was my best acting, bro. When I was kneeling down watching, I think it was a fight scene, and it was going, and I said, Lord, the editor had to see me. I'm in a white suit and I'm dead. Eyes open, nigga, watching the scene. Eyes open.
Yeah. Man,
So thank you for that.
yeah, absolutely. Man, I saw you in a video talking about your friend David being close friends with MJ and how they used to crack on each other, and you talked about how they was giving you information about how to deal with the ladies. Can you talk about that?
First of all, man, when you over there with legends like David Banks, David was way back one of the writers for Richard Pryor and wrote That Nigga's Crazy on that album and a couple of albums, and dear friends with Mr. Pryor and Paul Mooney and a couple of other great legendary comedians that David kind of, gave advice to, gave me a lot of advice as a comedian as well. But David has always been a mentor and a dear friend of mine. However, David was good friends with MJ and MJ's family and his mom. And David knew Michael's real voice and Michael's, real swag. And David was one of the biggest, coolest perverts I've met in my life about getting them girls. That brother was on them girls, bro. And I tell you, that's one of the things he was talking about, man. You can even see it in the long version of the video, the way you make me feel, how he would school you on how to get the girls because he was all about the girls. And he's just, talking about to Mike, even in the scene and even off the scene when we would just hang out on the set of, man, you can have any woman you want. And Mike was like, no, David, I'm just picky. But he did kind of fall for that little skinny girl in the black dress. I forgot Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Yeah, she was in the video. So Mike actually kind of got involved and liked her. But
Okay.
David was instigating any girls, man, was fair game. Any girl that was on the set, Mike was always very serious about his work. But David was there was another guy from Crossroads that was Joe Seneca. Set that legendary actor Joe Seneca. He was the old man that was also there, sitting on the steps. If you go back and look at it from the movie Crossroads, my famous director friend Joe Pitka, Clio award-winning friend who has used me in 35, 50 national spots, Super Bowl spots, and on, directed that, and that was the first time I met Mr. Pitka was on that interview. I'll tell you more about David, but I will tell you when I met Mr. Pitka, first thing he started doing was cursing at me. Me coming from South Central, I didn't believe in doing soap operas and music videos. And I was an actor. And I thought I would just, fly doing movies and TV shows. Little did I know it don't work that way. But I didn't know this was a music video, but I never had a director be that rude and nasty to me. So he said, who the fuck are you? And I said, who the fuck are you? And he says, what what are you fucking doing Saturday or something? I said, you big, tall, ugly, uh, white MF. I was not only vulgar, I was racist. And I said, uh, what's that character from the movie uh, Ghostbusters? The dude on the picture, look in all black at the end of the movie, and he looked with the crazy hair, and he was all in black. So he looked Ghostbuster looking motherfucker, and he looked at me. He said, "I'll see you Saturday." He got such a kick out of me cursing back at him. We became we became great friends. He used me over and over in all these national commercials. We sat and ate lunch. He was a bully. He played basketball when he directed all the Michael Jordan commercials. He directed all the Pepsi, Michael Jackson commercials. He was one of the biggest commercials back in the day. And he directed Space Camp, that animation thing, blah, blah, blah. And he became a dear friend of mine. But it's funny how God works, that my rawness attracted him. He would put the camera in your face and say, do something. And I didn't know what to do. And he put the camera in, he's a DP as well, the cameraman. And he said, do something. What do you want me to do? Do something. I said, what the fuck you want me to do? He said, action. He wanted a reaction from you. He wanted you angry. He wanted to motivate you to be raw. He's alive, and he really didn't care for actors trying to be thespians. He liked rawness. And if there's one thing about me and you, Willie D, we know the raw deal. A good man is a good man that's got a heart, that talk that good shit and could go and hang out with the best of them. And that's what kind of dude he respected. No way racist, no way prejudice against nothing to do with color. And I just respected I could be myself on the set. So here I am on the Michael Jackson set and finding out for the callback that Saturday that it's a music video. I don't know what it is. They say it's for MJ. Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
And it turned out that we worked on 7 to 10 days in an airport hangar. And David Banks, I think that's where I met David, was also the co-writer of that. And as I met David, me and David became good friends because David also likes that rawness. David would razzle dazzle you so bad, he would talk about you, talk about everybody around you. It's called the dozens. Well, if you couldn't hang, you get your little feelings hurt. He called me red or dirty red just because I'm light skinned. And he talked so much shit, but because I know how to talk it back, we became good friends. Okay, here we are on the set shooting with all real Crips, with all real V13s from Venice Beach, 2 actors, me and another cat, LaToya Jackson, Michael Jackson, all these dancers. One of the actors gets into it with me, starts spitting at me. Only 2 actors. I think the energy of the gangbangers made him feel like he had to be tough. He starts spitting at me. I start going in for the kill. Guess who starts instigating the whole thing? Guess.
Michael.
The director, Joe.
Okay.
Get him, Roy. Let's go. I'm like, what director wants you to fight on the set? But again, that rawness, and he's just like instigating me, Willie. I'm like, dog, I backed off. I'd been kicked out of 7 junior high schools. I've been in and out of jail all my life. I just came into acting to get away from that shit, right? Here I'm working with these gangbangers. Long story short, 7, 8 days later, after we wrapped, all these gangbangers are the nicest people in the world. I mean, you know, some of the toughest people love their mama, and some of the hardest gangsters got a heart. You just got to be cool with them, right? So at the end, we taking a photo for People magazine. Now, my boy Snoop Dogg said he believed Mike was a Crip. I'm here to say he wasn't a Crip, but he was always affiliated with a gang. The first gang, the Jacksons. That nigga had grew up with all these niggas that were tough, that probably he fought, They fought, he won, they won. So he was a tough dude. So being around these gangbangers made him feel at home. So here's the magic. When they said, okay, all y'all get together, we felt like a family. And all of a sudden, everybody threw up the Crip sign. And man, we turned around and Mike threw up that Crip sign, and it was like magic. No one told him to do it. He threw it up, and that's what that picture is you see floating around the internet. Mike threw that sign up because he wanted to feel connected, and that was a part of him, brotherly love.
That's a
Like
real pic. That actually happened. That's a real pic. That's not.
I was there. That ain't no AI. I was there. That didn't. Nobody whispered over. No photographer. No Joe. Nobody said throw up the sign, Mike.
No Photoshop.
MJ. They know Photoshop. That's me and the real boys, Willie D. That's that real deal. Me and Mike, we took more pictures. I got more pictures I'll send to you later.
Yeah.
But that was to me, again, thanking God that God's connected me with Robert Townsend and MJ and David Banks and all these greats that I've worked with and other legends that I've worked with. When I think about working with legends and even working with the great legend Willie D to cut my throat.
It was an accident.
It was an accident. And I just think about, like, hey, Lord, what's next?
Yeah.
So that was the real story.
Man, what's fatherhood been like for you, man? Because I see you online with your son a lot, and I can see the love just busting through the screen, man. It's gotta be one of your greatest achievements.
It is. It's as a dad, I'm looking at these young dads and I talk to other dads and I see that same love today. And I don't have to ask questions because I've experienced, that type of love, and I'm still experiencing the growth of the love and the evolution of it. It's wild because they always say you want to see your seed do far better and go farther than you've ever dreamed of going as an actor, an entertainer, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever your career is. You want your seed to go further. And watching Roshan truly be a real triple threat and having the ability to say, what is a triple threat? Well, I worked with a real triple threat, Michael Jackson. And here is a father that has to kind of sit back and watch what a talented young man he is, but at the same time, love him so much that you're kind of afraid. This is such a crazy business that you want to make sure you're choosing it. And that's what I told him when he was 6. He quit at 6 years old. And I said, once you quit Hollywood, you can't come back. And he says, well, I really want to do it. And I didn't want him to be a part of it anymore if he didn't want to do it. And he says, he had this little froggy voice. I really want to do it, Dad. I really want to be a part of it. I said, no, they wrote your name down. Once you quit, you can't come back. And my heart was so like broken that maybe this wasn't for him, because of course a dad always kind of pushes what's in his head and heart on their kids. So I had to really check myself and say, maybe this is not for him. That dude started dancing, that dude started drawing, dude started drumming and playing piano and got his own studio and writing music and being an actor and being a singer. And I said, okay, that's him. That's not me. And I really love that I didn't overdo it, because I'm a natural coach, a little bit too pushy. Mm-hmm. And as a father, I think you're a father. As a father, we're always wanting to give the best advice, and the best advice sometimes is shut your mouth. Hard to do. But I love my baby, and I got other babies. I got a daughter and I got another son. And it's not easy that one of them is in showbiz, but we're a good family. We're blessed.
Yeah, you have you seen? I'm sure you've seen some of the stuff that's going on with the producer. I believe his name is Snyder. I believe
Yeah,
was over,
yeah.
that was over at Disney. Did you have any reservations about? Because I know Roshan worked over at Disney for like 3 years. What was the name of that show he was on for like 3 years?
No. 8 years. He did Shake It Up for 3 years, and he did
That's
four
what I'm
years
talking
or
about. Yeah,
whatever. He did
yeah,
4 years with Camp Rock 1 and 2. So he
yeah.
actually had 7 or 8 years on the network. Yep.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, right.
And yeah, we
Did you
met
have?
him. We
Yeah. Did
we
you have?
met him. We met him.
Yeah. So you met him. But did you have any reservations about taking him over to Disney, knowing that how Hollywood is, not necessarily about the sexual assault accusations or whatever, but just in general how Hollywood chew up and spit out young actors.
Yeah, matter of fact, I had reservations. This nigga going to the bathroom by himself. He's a little handsome young man. Uh, I've always been overprotective, just with family. And then, hey, man, I knew, certain places kids got to be kind of monitored. So
Mhm.
you don't know this, but they all thought I was his security. I used to wear dark glasses. You see how I'm moving my head now? I didn't move. I just stayed like this,
Mhm.
very stoic. And they thought I was either his manager or security because I just stayed on the lookout. And that was my way of going, I don't know who you are, but I'm looking because they couldn't
Yeah,
see my eyes. So they
yeah,
was like, I don't know who this dude is. Rashawn is black and Filipino, so they wasn't quite sure of if that was my kid. And I tell you, man, uh, Willie D, discernment runs great over this way, homie. So I already knew when I suspected or saw something, I could always see when something wasn't right. And like you said, I'm looking out because I got this far keeping it clean. And I knew that they might try to take advantage of my boy in a way that he may not have caught on to it. But by the way, he got game like daddy. So he was on it. And he was very cool at communication, which a lot of young people are not. We had a great communication skill. I would put down the lesson and he would capture it and then take it to another level. Listen. And that's when people say, well, how did you just get your boy in showbiz? I didn't get my boy in showbiz. I showed him a little bit here and there, 50%, and he had the other 50%, which was talent and a way to manifest the lesson. A lot of people think you could just put your kid nepotism in showbiz and they become successful. You have to have talent and you have to listen, but you also have to know that they have to have a little discernment that, hey, dad, that person's kind of weird over there. I remember this little story. We were at Burger King up here on Crenshaw. I live in Leimert Park, and my son had just graduated from school, 6th grade or 5th grade, whatever it was. And this, mentally, person was in line, a little older than, maybe he was 15, 16, 18. I don't know how old he was, but I knew something was wrong upstairs. But he had an attraction for my son. And so my son and I are very goofy. We laugh a lot and we don't laugh at the wrong stuff, but we will laugh at some inappropriate shit. And we knew right away something wasn't right. And he was like, the guy kept saying, he big. Oh, he big. But the way he was looking, the way he was looking at Roshan, going, "Ooh, he big." Roshan was like, "Hey, Dad, this guy tripping over here. He talking about I'm big. I don't think he talking about the same thing we talking about, Dad. I'm big, but he looking at me a little strange." I see, yeah, Ro, you got to watch out for that. So that became our word for anybody that came at Roshan, or if the room was hot, Roshan would look over at me and go, he
he
big.
did. He did. Say, man,
So that was our protection code. It's a dad. He big.
hey, have you ever have you ever felt some type of way about Rashawn working in Hollywood and you know, somebody thinking that, you know, because Rashawn is working and he's, you know, he's making money and you got stewardship over him, that somehow, some way that you were using your son to come up.
Oh
Because
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes.
you
Oh
know, a lot of
yes.
that happens. And
Oh
I know as a
yes.
father, you know, my kids are not in Hollywood, but as a father, you know, I've always kind of thought like if my kid was like young and making money, you know what I'm saying, how would I feel about that? Knowing that, you know, I'm the dad, I'm the father and I'm supposed to be the breadwinner, but this kid is making enough money to feed the
The whole
change,
family.
to create generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? And I got
Yes.
stewardship over the bread. You know, how do I make sure that I take care of this? You know, like what kind of steps did you take to make sure that you secured the bag for Roshan so that when he got older, you know what I'm saying, he could have something to fall back on?
Well, that's a great question because one of the things that Rashawn was able to learn and sustain was I was gifted with negotiations. I worked with William Morris. I was somewhat his manager, but yet not his manager. A lot of times they didn't know I was Rashawn's father, but every negotiation I negotiated on speakerphone, and everything that Rashawn heard was for Rashawn's behalf. There was none of the sneaky daddy trying to do a deal without me, daddy not honestly looking out for me. I wanted that to be so Rashawn could hear every step, and that not only for Rashawn, but if he has to do it in the future, he would know how to talk and negotiate this because it's a tricky dicky situation when these people think they're talking to dad. So a lot of times I wouldn't tell them it was dad. But what was very important for me was Rashawn hears every bit of the negotiation. One. Two would be once there was a certain amount of money made, we envisioned getting Rashawn property, and we accomplished that. Once that was a step, Rashawn was living in his own pretty fat condo a couple of blocks from the Staples Center at 18 years old. So uh, Rashawn became super self-sufficient as a young man. I wanted him. I remember my wife crying when we did a credit check to see if Rashawn could get an apartment at 17, and it went through. And we said, "Oh wow, how did that happen?" Well, you know, he was on Shake It Up. I think he had just turned 18, and he got the apartment on Hope and 8th Street, right across the street from Macy's, under the IHOP. 3 blocks from the Shake It Up studio. We wanted to do that, at least I wanted to do that, because I didn't want him driving, being at work at 5 and 6 in the morning, having a new BMW 740 at 18, maybe not brand new, but pretty new, and 18-year-olds driving a 740. Come on. I didn't want him rolling out of the hood at that time of the morning by himself. So again, discernment has always been a gift from God. I wanted him to be close and I wanted him to be on time at the studio, which he was, but I also wanted him to be sufficient and independent as a man. And I wanted him to start using his money and learning what paying rent was and investing in himself. And all that stuff he learned early. He went on to buy a few properties. He's always lived alone. He's never moved back home, but he learned that he was an independent man and a self-provider that happens to share his money with his family when he wants to, which is always. He's never been selfish. He's never been greedy. And as a father, I've always, back to your question, have felt really uncomfortable about, wow, if I'm not making money and he's the breadwinner, what do I do? And there came some days when there was nothing coming in. And the biggest blessing and God gave me was you keep guiding him and you keep doing what you do as an actor, and I'll bless you too. So I completely stopped everything. There was no money coming in. and Rashawn was holding it down for a while. And then it did feel bad, but it also felt good because ultimately God provided for all of us. And now I'm back working again. Rashawn is working. And it was God's plan to say, this usually breaks a family up. And a
Yeah.
lot of resentment comes when someone says, well, I paid this and you didn't pay that and you
Right.
ain't shit and you supposed to be the dad and you, but some way our bond is closer than finance. And that's some rare shit right there, ain't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So that's how
Absolutely.
that worked out. We still love each other. Hey, by the way, can you loan me $100?
Yeah. Absolutely. I got you covered, bro. Hey, for all that you've done, man, all that, I mean this, man, with every fiber in my body, man. With all that you've done, man, that's the least that I can get them do. In fact, I'd be like, that's all you want, like I'm
Yeah,
serious.
but I'm
You,
listening. I'll take $100 from all of your viewers, though. That's what I'm looking for.
yeah, okay, okay. I know my viewers be tight on that money, man. They
All
kind
right, a
of,
dollar. I've seen your numbers, my nigga. I'll take a dollar, $2. Invest in this fund. I got no more babies on the way. What am I gonna do? Ain't no more Roshans. Nigga need new pair of shoes. Help a nigga out. Help a nigga out. Gotta make some more babies around here. Shit.
oh, oh,
I need some
damn,
Rayshons
man.
and some Roshan. I need a Rayshon and I need some new girl. I need something. I need a hit. Need a hit, nigga. Need a hit. Need a hit, nigga.
Man, you've had look, man, look. I know it's always about what's next because I'm the same way. I know I definitely don't rest on my laurels, but in all seriousness, man, you have been in some iconic films.
Yeah.
You've done some iconic work. Uh, uh, but most of the roles that you've played have been supporting roles, right?
Most
And
of them. Yeah.
most of the roles you played have been supporting roles, but impactful to say the least. Very impactful. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever spend any time worrying about people knowing perhaps knowing you more for knowing your roles more than they know your name?
That's a good point. But let me tell you something that's crazy, man. People know my name now, homie. Um, but that had happened for a long time. People, I love your work. You're my favorite actor. I want to see more of you. You're underrated. I told them to write to Hollywood because, I do feel ignored at times, but what actor doesn't? Even actors that work way more than me want to work more, and it's never enough. But I have recently found that people know my name, that people Google me, that people want to know what I'm doing. And when I hear that, that lets me know that I'm on the right track. But back to what you asked, during the time of when iconic, you know, superstars get that recognition and they don't know my name and they know me as, oh, that guy, I like his work, but they don't know my name. I know somewhere in there that that's part of the ego, that you want everyone to know your name, like the Cheers song, where everybody knows your name. You want people to know your name. We do this for accolades, for some of us do it for recognition, and some of us do it for pure creative joy, and a lot of us do it for just the money. And one of the things that most people do it for is recognition, and it feels good when someone says, Roy Fagan, you're one of my favorite actors. I follow you not only on Instagram, but I followed your career. I want to see you do more. What are you doing now, Roy? That
How,
is
how good does it feel when someone who has power in Hollywood recognizes your work but don't put you on?
Oh, nigga, you trying to start a war, nigga. I can name you 100 people like that, nigga. I told you, you want to cut some of this shit out. This might be the shit you got to cut out. This way you trigger it. You want to trigger, nigga. This way you want to trigger, nigga, right here, huh? So you got any questions. Here's what you wrote down is you want to trigger, nigga. That's what this the part you want to trigger a nigga, ain't it? Oh, so this the trigger a nigga segment. I got you. So this is what you had on a little piece of paper. You're gonna say all nice shit
I wrote
about
it
the
on my hand,
family.
man. I wrote it
Yeah.
on. I wrote it
Yeah.
inside of a
Oh,
palm.
we're gonna talk about Roshan. We're gonna talk about how is it that they know your name and how is it? And, you've been in a lot of roles, and then it said, okay, trigger nigga time. Yeah, it's a lot of that, homie. I got a, I got a, I got a list right here that is trigger nigga list that I don't even look at. I try not to show it because it's triggering. Yes, there's a lot of
Yeah.
those people who I've mentored. There's a lot of those
Uh,
who became super successful that I mentored, that I'm friends with, that I was friends with, that I came up with, that made false promises, that said, maybe didn't say, but you just take it for granted that if you cool with people when they,
yeah.
when they hit, you good. If you qualify, remember, not to pull you up, but just to lift you up when you also are able to go up. Not if you're not ready, then don't, you know, start pouting if you're not ready. You know, don't get ready, be ready, stay ready. So I was ready and I just said, hey, they ain't lifting me up. So I had the hand up and then nobody was like going. And so I said, don't I know you? I've had people who I knew who don't even look at you in the eyes once they make it.
Hmm.
They don't even see you, Willie D. They in the event or the party or the red carpet or the crossing, just walk right by you. They don't even acknowledge you. So uh, this builds the callus. Without a callus and like a duck, the water just rolls off the back. If you don't have that, I'm getting teary eyed. Hold on. If, if you don't have that callus, baby, it hurts. It hurts deeply when someone ignores you that that now they've come to a certain level that a word. Now a word from our sponsor. A word. Just one word would get you in the door with
Mhm.
stamp of approval. This nigga ready because he's my friend, but he's not just my friend. He ready. A word, a little shove in the right direction gets you in the movie, gets you in the series, and you in a series for 3 or 4 years. You'd have made yourself 2 or 3 or 4 or $5 million just on a little shove. They won't shove. They
And,
shun you.
what's heartbreaking more than anything is that it don't cost them nothing. Like
No, it cost them a whole bunch.
they lose
No.
nothing.
Oh, yes, they do.
What do they lose?
They lose the ability to say, that nigga got in too easy, and I'm the star here. And my ego has to be boosted because if he's here, he's going to shine too much. And
Hmm.
his energy and his smile and his humor and his good looks, his charm, his humor, his silliness, his love for life, his love for his family. They envy that.
Yeah.
And so it costs them, it's threatening. So it costs them a lot. And so they cancel you before you can get that breath of life that, allows you to, treat your family to something nice or pay your mortgage up for 5 years or 2 years or take your family on a trip. They don't want you being happy. They want to be happier than you. So when they see you, they say stuff like, how you been? Nigga, you know exactly how I've been. I've been
Hmm.
broke, nigga. I've been broke, nigga.
Been
What you
broke.
mean how I've been? I've been broke, nigga. What you mean how I've been? You the one on TV 10 years straight. But, God provides. And I've been able to do so many other things, technology. I have my own network. I have a
Is that three in a
wonderful,
row? What's three
that
in a row?
was 3 in a row. That was me and Roshan's network, that just an entertainment company. We did some things, but now I have Black owned TV, and we have a remarkable thing going. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And all the haters out there that shunned your boy Roy, beware, because I am back.
Hey man, check this out.
What?
Um, which of your roles that you've played feels like deja vu, like you've actually lived it before?
Mm. Which of my roles that feels like deja vu that I actually lived
Yeah,
it
when
before?
you were in that in the moment when you played that role, which one felt like deja vu, like you actually lived that life?
Thug life. No, not that one. Not that one. Um, it would have to be Hollywood Shuffle,
Yeah.
because you know Robert wrote that from the actor's point of view and perspective. And I'd never do this part. This is bullshit. But yet, you know, even today, there are certain things I have to audition for. Uh, again, I'm an actor who loves to play all kind of roles, but
Mhm.
some of the shit they might throw at you, Willie D, is like Hollywood Shuffle. It's like you're gonna come across some shit like the audacity. I ain't doing that shit. So Hollywood Shuffle would be my answer. I'm going with A, Hollywood Shuffle for $2,000.
Man, y'all had some big ones in that, man. That was a
Yeah, yeah,
man.
we did.
And
Yeah,
you
we
had
did.
Helen Martin, man. How funny was that,
Whoa.
man?
Helen was my homie. I think me and her smoked some weed together or talked about smoking a joint together.
Yeah,
Helen was my homie. She also, Helen was, I believe, was on 227, which I
yeah,
did with Jack A. Harry, as well as Marla Gibbs was a dear friend of mine, Marla Gibbs from Memory Lane. Ronaldo Ray was a dear friend of mine that passed on years ago. Helen, I don't know, I just vibe with older people, like old people. David Banks was 25 years older than me as well. But Helen had such a funny old school humor, and she dropped a few F bombs here and there. Uh, but LaWanda Page did Meteor Man. Helen wasn't in Meteor Man, but LaWanda Page also reminded me of the Helen energy. You remember LaWanda Page
hmm
from
yeah, yeah. From
Sanford and Son?
Jefferson, yeah,
Yeah, I think she did. But just that old Hollywood and those veterans, like some of the things she's seen in her career, I didn't talk about at all. But sometimes when you work with a person like that, you could just feel some of the shit they've been through.
hmm
And as a black actress that grew up in all this bullshit of Hollywood phoniness, I think I got a little bit of that from her just by being in the room or in this circle of I'm a no nonsense dude. If I don't want to do something, I'm gonna tell you. And I think that was Helen. I think that was Ronaldo. I think that was Paul Mooney. I know that was David Banks. I know
John
that was
Witherspoon's John,
John.
John,
John was a friend of mine, by the way. Ronaldo Ray, January 27th, my birthday. John Witherspoon, January 27th, another friend of mine. A charm of a man, even in the height of his success. He never had an ego, not around me, not around people I saw. And so when I look at these kind of classic older actors, they set, they set the path of when you do get your success, stay humble, keep your guards up, because
hmm
my boy is from Detroit, and when you got your guards up, you ain't gonna get that bullshit coming at you every 5 minutes. But you born in Houston,
yeah,
it's just certain certain energy in Houston, certain energy in Detroit. You know, my little South Central energy is different. All my little homies I met from New York, we came at each other like, yeah, what, yeah, and became friends like that. And then, like I would always say, some of my homies here in LA, oh, that's my homie, and you turn your back, and them niggas is talking about you before you can get out the. out in the street, out the door. But New York, East Coast people are so real. I've been that guy that's gonna squabble with you right up front and become best friends with you. That's just who I am. Whereas I was able to kind of decipher through the bullshit here is everybody smiling in your face is not your friend. I was able to pass that on to my son and pass that on to anybody dear to me that just because, they smiling and making you laugh, those aren't your people. And I think that's just, even when I came to Houston, had a dear friend named Suavette Williams who passed on years ago at 32 years old. She ran my company when I was doing the play Treat Her Like a Lady. My good friend Ollie Woodson uh, wrote that song, by the way, if you remember him from The Temptations.
Yeah, well,
Ooh, Ollie Woodson. I can't sing, but Ollie could sing his ass off.
he was
And
in Temptations.
huh? Huh?
Well, he was in the Temptations.
Oh, he was one of the lead singers in The Temptations.
Yes,
But
oh yeah.
even if he passed on, but even if Ollie wasn't in The Temptations, that nigga was singing his ass off. So we toured in a couple of gospel plays together, and something I remember desperately wanting to write, my vision, being inspired from Keenan Ivory Wayans and my boy Townsend. I had to get my play written. So I went to my boy, Mike Matthews to write my songs. And he wanted to, but he bullshitted me because he was busy. But he wanted to, but he didn't have time. But I had the play written, but I didn't have the music. And Willie D, when you need music, God knows how to really put a song in your heart. I was losing my house, and God put a few songs in my heart to write regarding how I was losing my house. Miraculously, the amount exactly that I was short came in the mail through a Michael Jackson check for $3,700. You said, nigga, you was
That's
losing
a
your
video.
house over 30. Yeah, that video that Michael turned into a SAG was the first video that was a Union SAG production from MJ Studios. The address was, I think, 37 Vine or whatever. He had a little studio, and I remember driving by it. But when that check came, it was either 3,700, which was 3 months. I think full closure comes on the fourth month. I'd got the letter, and I kid you not, the exact amount of that check covered my foreclosure. But that's not only the miracle. The miracle was God put some songs in my heart. So I ended up writing 7 songs for the play Treat Her Like a Lady. And I took that play on tour, which Hawthorne James played my lead. And I struggled with, you know, different issues of trying to promote it and getting promoters and taking it to different cities and putting people on planes and learning the whole producer game. Gained so much respect for RT, Robert Townsend, that as a producer, when you're working with friends, you also learn on the other side that it ain't easy. Robert was my producer. Now I'm a producer. Now I have friends. Well, you learn a lot. Everybody ain't always happy when things look different, and maybe in their mind things are a little different in the way they're seeing it. You learn both ways when you're an actor and a producer. And I would just say, I probably won't hire too many more friends in my productions. If I will, I'll be very careful, because you got to know, as you asked earlier, how was that working with Robert as your friend and a producer? It's tricky business. You got to be careful.
Mm-hmm. Man, how good is Robert Thompson, man? Like everything I've ever seen Robert do has been good stuff, man. Like really good stuff, man. Like and Robert is one of those dudes, like you look up and you see directed by, or you see produced by, but Robert is not like a pronounced that type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not loud, like he's unassuming, but he's very effective. Very, very effective and influential in Hollywood.
Well, he's a creative freak. So when you got a creative freak, you know, you know, go crazy with trying to be seen or trying to be the egomaniac. You just want to do great work. He tells me all the time, we haven't talked in a little while, but it's like good friends don't have to talk every day. When we catch up, it's always good love. He will go underground. He will go underground in a minute to get stuff done, which is going away by himself to write and focus. And that's a good lesson because sometimes you got to get away from different energies to complete the task and you got to commit to the creative process. Sometimes the creative process can change depending on the rhythms and the things that are going on around you. So I learned that from him, and I appreciate that lesson. That sometimes you just got to get away, whether it's sit in your car, take a ride, go to the park, go to the beach, rent a room, and just write. Well, focus in a different way that normally I have a pretty big house by the grace of God, and it's the same house. I think I've been in foreclosure a few times in my career. You say, well, why are you sharing that story? Because it was funny because every time I was in foreclosure, the exact amount of the check came. And that was a lesson God was teaching me. It taught me faith.
Yeah.
Even my wife would look at me like, nigga, why you not panicking? It was a couple of times, Willie, she was looking at me like, nigga, you show a tear, nigga, sweat. Sweat, nigga, do something, nigga. You look very confident right now. Nigga, we are 2 weeks away from out of this piece. What the hell? What are you smoking, nigga? Give me some of that shit. So, Willie, never panic. And it not only taught me faith, but it had to teach her faith too, because the mailman has always been my friend. And then that check comes and it's the exact amount. And we talking about a nigga going after 3 months having no money. And then boom, wow, that's some Hollywood shit. Only Hollywood can pay in bulk. That Taco Bell job, nigga, ain't gonna give you 3 months. That 3 months, Taco Bell's on special. They got me covered, nigga. No, that was a residual. Some cases, it was the Actors Union once. It was Michael Jackson. And then one time it was just a check that came out of the blue that I was just like, okay, God, what are you telling me? And it taught me faith. And by the grace of God, I haven't been in foreclosure. Again, have your viewers send $1 to prevent Roy Fegan from ever going into foreclosure again. Support the arts. Send a check. Because I do have these niggas' names on this hand here. I don't want to call these niggas because they not listening. Hello?
Say, man, what has a role ever gotten away from you that you rejected, that you said, like, damn, man, I wish I hadn't have done that. I wish I had actually accepted that role. I'm talking about, I'm not just talking about a role that you just said, well, I wish I had. I'm talking about a role like that role, like that could have actually changed the trajectory of your career. Have you ever missed one of those?
Yes. Yes. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm sick of you asking good questions, and fuck you for asking great questions. I want to make very clear some of the shit you're pulling out of me was not in the script. This is some bullshit, Willie D. But it shows your skill, and I don't like your skill. Your skill is too skillful. But yeah, there was one role. I didn't necessarily turn it down, but a friend of mine wrote the role and created the role for me for the Jamie Foxx show.
Oh, yeah.
And Braxton, which was the
Well, you was a guest on the show. I mean, you was a guest on the show at least.
That was a consolation. That was a consolation. But when I went in, I know my boy Bentley Evans created the show, and of course, wrote it and had me in mind for that part. And I was a shoe-in because that was my guy, and he was like, "This is you." But when he brought me in, the network wasn't feeling me or didn't like me. But I knew by the powers that be that he was like, oh, I'm gonna make it happen because nigga, your talent is off the chain. It's not that I turned it down, but somewhere in there in the room it went flat. You know, you do some shit and it doesn't resonate. It didn't connect.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me? Uh, it was up in that piece like this, you know, and you know right away, oh shit, oh, it's like that, huh? You all, it's like that. So you know you got your Ace Coon Boone in there that created it. So you try to, you know, shake that off, but you know you got the executives in there like, who's this guy? Is this the guy? It's not the guy. It's not. It's not working. So I'm feeling that bad energy, and you either try hard, you're reading the script, it is what it is, and you know, okay, it's gonna be all right. So I was driving on the way home after leaving Burbank, and I got that call from my agent. And I was driving in my little green Forerunner. Willie, I'm right there, Rossmore, Vine, and Melrose. Bro, when it was only one time in my career that this affected me like that. And I don't know why to this day. When it hit me, he says, okay, you didn't get it. I remember the steering wheel just going out of my hand. And I let it go into the windshields, which everybody know that windshields are still there. And I let it coast and I turned the engine off. And I remember almost going unconscious and feeling really shitty and dizzy. And I let that bitch coast right into the wall. It didn't hit the wall, but I was just fucked up with just like bad feeling. It hit the engine, and I just sat there and was like, shit, damn. But I was not enough oxygen in the brain, so I was not unconscious, but I wasn't there. So I had to pick myself up, dusted off, and drove down Crenshaw. And it was like another one bites the dust. But nothing has ever bothered me. I've been on some of the biggest starring roles and made other actors famous that I was up for. But that, I don't know why that affected me so much. Could it have been the possibility that my friend wrote it for me? And
That's
maybe I
what
felt like I let him down. I don't know.
well, it's just, it sounds like to me that, you know, you was entitled to it. You felt you was entitled to it because your friend wrote it
Maybe.
for you. Like, this is
Maybe.
my fucking show. It's, I got it. It's mine. And it seemed
That's what
like
it
you went in that room and they took it away from you.
that's what it felt like. It felt like I was robbed, and I felt bad that maybe I let him down, not so much him, but myself down. I felt the way the agent delivered it was like any agent that delivers it. It wasn't a female, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm sorry. It was just a great agent that was just cut, you know, to the chase. You didn't get it.
You said that you dusted yourself off. How long did it take for you to dust yourself off before you got back to it and, you know, you got another role?
The next fucking day, nigga, I'm a soldier.
Huh.
My agent's calling me 3 times a week for commercials and TV shows. The next day, I was back. But that exact moment, I was down. And I didn't dote. I didn't mope. I mean, I was doing a lot of commercials back then. I was always auditioning. I just remember how bad that felt. And I remember, like, to this day, I've never talked about it. And I hate you for bringing it up. Um,
Well,
I
I never
really
been
do.
insulted so much on my own damn show, man. I just never
Well,
been. I've never
I'm
been
gonna give you
insulted this much in my life to my face before.
I'm going to give you more of these if you keep coming up with these damn great questions. And as we discussed, I don't want to cut any of this out, but I just resent this whole thing because it's been very therapeutic, and it's made me realize what a success and failure I've been. And I feel I feel like you've uplifted me just to chop my black ass down. And I don't know why I ever did this. I feel like maybe this was a setup. And I think you know them fucking people at the network. I think you had something to do with the shit. Now, that's what I'm thinking. That's just
No,
what I think.
no,
No,
brother.
I'm kidding.
I heard you a few years back. I saw you on a video with Red, and you said y'all. I think y'all were on the set of House Arrest, I think, and you said that the
Uh-huh.
light skinned brothers are making a comeback. Uh,
Yeah.
Are you content with the comeback the light skinned brothers have made?
Hell no. We got to do another comeback because there came a time where you great. You good. You should. We got to go way farther with this. Your podcast is the best out there because nobody does it better than you, Willie D. Listen, I've seen, being in this as long as I've been in it. I've seen it when Wesley Snipes came in and a light skinned nigga couldn't get a job. And I remember when Wesley was the top. I remember they wasn't seeing my light ass. Usually I say my black ass, but I'm saying my light ass couldn't get a job, couldn't get an interview. And don't forget a nigga got green eyes too. So they didn't know what I was. And I was like, damn, I'm out. So I had to literally wait when light skin came back in. Cause for a minute, nigga, we were out. And so I was like, that's why I ended up writing plays and shit, because I said, fuck Hollywood. And so they say, did Hollywood say fuck you, or did you say fuck Hollywood? Both. And they actually said fuck you to me first. And then I said, well, fuck you too. And then we made up. And I came back and they said, and we're seeing light skinned niggas again if you want to come in tomorrow. I said,
Man,
okay, I'm back.
you can do other things, man. But man, I'm telling you, that acting, bro. You know, look, man. You put distance between yourself and the competition with that. Like
Yeah, tell them.
you put yourself. You really put distance between yourself and the competition with acting. Like that's your gift. That's definitely
You think so? You
that's
really
that's
believe that?
I know for a fact because a lot of people have talents. A lot of it's kind of like a talent is something that you can do but a gift is something that comes easy for you that other people find difficult to do. Most people find difficult to do, and that's the difference between a cook and a chef, right?
Damn.
A whole lot of people can cook, but it ain't too many people can be a chef, because chef is more than just cooking. It's the passion, it's the presentation, it's the taste, it's the herbs, it's the spices, it's everything. Like, and it's knowing the difference and the nuances of ingredients and stuff, man. Everybody can't do that. That's a whole different level. Like, I can cook, but my homeboy is a chef. That motherfucker,
Okay.
he can go. Like, and I'm talking about all types of foods, any type of delicacy, this dude, he got it down pat. That dude, that's a different level. What you
Right.
do, with that acting thing, man, it's just a whole different level. The the most unusual audition that you've had to encounter.
Now, this is not necessarily unusual. Joe Jackson for the Michael Jackson story. It was uncanny being a father of an artist, Roshan. Locking in, and Roshan wasn't Roshan at that point. He was just a baby. But I kind of knew, the chip off the old block, but he hadn't, done all the things, and I didn't know he was a triple threat and all that anyway. But reading the script, and my friend Jackie Brown, the casting director, brought me in. And they brought me in for a callback, and they brought me in for a third callback. And it was between my good friend Lawrence. Everybody's my good friend until they're not. My good friend Lawrence Hilton Jacobs is still my good friend to this day. It was between him and I. Why was it most unusual? Did you see the movie?
I did.
Okay, I didn't get it because it was between him and I. Politically, I had the very same booking on The Meteor Man, and they knew that when they narrowed it down between New York, Detroit, and all the cities that they saw the actors, and it was between the talented Lawrence Hilton Jacobs and myself. Whatever way it didn't work because of my schedule or because they just went his direction, I don't know to this day. But it feels good knowing that was my part. That was his part. It's just a matter of which way they went at the end. Reading the script was scary because the level of intensity that Joe brought as the character or the writer interpretation of Joe, it's pretty nasty, bro.
Hmm.
What was your question again? Say it again just so I can get the right.
No, I think what I was asking was the most unusual audition.
So that's unusual that
Yeah.
you start playing a role that feels very right. He was a nasty coach. I'm a nasty coach. He's a pushy mofo. I'm a pushy mofo. I was relating to shit that was coming off real nice. And it was like, oh yeah, this nigga, that's that Joe right there.
Do you
And
do,
it was weird, just weird.
do you think it may have been for them like maybe six in one hand, half a dozen in the other, but they went with Lawrence because Lawrence was closer in shade and hue, perhaps. You
I
know,
never thought of it that way. People thought that I looked more like him for a minute because at one point he was closer to shade than because we all have our complexions look different and we change. A lot of people to this day say, "Oh, you look a lot," or could have. But there's something about me as an actor and knowing that I finally met him. Yes, his hue and shade was very close to Lawrence. But something that's very incredible, thank God, about me as an actor, and I don't know if everybody has this, but I'm a chameleon, bro. I
mhm.
literally transform spiritually, physically. I commit to a level of I don't mimic facial expressions and I don't do that imitation stuff. But I think as a coach, as a father that wants their kids to be the best, I was living that shit so hard. I was undeniable. Watching the film, was it a blockbuster? No. Was it powerful? Yes. Do I feel, back to your other question, would that have changed anything? Not necessarily, but just knowing that I was considered and knowing what, see, as a professional auditioner, even when I wasn't working, I would kid myself. I just do auditions. I'm good at them, but they don't hire my ass. I would joke like that because I knew I did a good job. And I knew I learned the business early enough, even though it tore my heart out and I had to rebuild another one like the $6 million brother. I knew that it's sometimes a look, back to what you said. It's not always about talent. It's a hue, a look, it's a face that has to fit in, a
Yeah,
physical, whatever. It's not always about your talent. But I just say I can transform. And I really believe when you say unusual, I felt like, damn, that script, if I ever found it, I'm sure I got it somewhere around here. I transformed into Joe Jackson. And had I not been doing Meteor Man or had it not went Larry's way, I would have had a lot of fun doing that. But I really probably would have scared myself doing it out of, I don't want to be that mean. I don't want to be remembered that way.
yeah,
I know I've heard Mr. Jackson talk about how his dad scared him. I don't want my son to remember me that way. but I'm pretty, hard as a coach and hard as an acting coach. I've worked with other students, and I had to learn how to refine my teaching technique that is not so, you know, it's not a football coach, but it's close to, passion. And people can confuse passion with just over the top, nigga. It's just too much. Just and I always respect the directors that whisper to their actors. I want to be more like that guy. That guy's cool. He's Willie. When you go over, I'm all, I'm all like Willie, bigger. No, no, Willie. No, that's not what I want. No, no, you're not doing it. That's not good. All right, cut. That's some bullshit. What you're doing? I don't buy it. And you're like, damn, nigga, just throw my shit all out. Everybody's watching. And you come to me and go, hey, man, I don't like the way you talk to me, nigga. What's up with that? I'm like, whatever, nigga. Fire it.
Yeah.
So that's not good. I don't want to be that guy.
Well, you when you're acting, you can be whatever you want to be. That's what they say when you're acting. Let me ask you this: if you could start over in a completely unrelated field without any connections and take one of your skill sets in your current profession as an actor, what would it be and why?
I would be Willie D on a podcast where I can humiliate Roy Fegan. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I would be a director that got into acting. That got into acting later.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a director, a successful director that worked a lot and had a variety of different genres to shoot and direct, and dabble in from that into acting so I could be more in control of my setting and my destiny in a way that I create, which I'm doing now, but I'll create more opportunities for myself and other people, my family, Rashawn, and friends, and struggling actors and people that need an opportunity that other people ignore.
Yeah.
I would be that guy.
Man, that is an excellent answer, man. And it's type of answer that I would expect to come from somebody like you, who is a generous person, a person that cares about not just himself, but others. Because one of the things that I had to learn to do later in my career was, I had to learn to be more social, right? Because there's a lot of low down, dirty scoundrels out there, and yeah. I knew enough growing up, so I'm like, I'd rather deal with the devil that I know than to be out here trying to deal with these new people, and I don't know them from a hole in the ground. But I realized that that I had a special opportunity to connect with people, so that I could connect people that I know, and family members and friends, even my own children. If they wanted to make a move over here or over there, they can just holler at me, and I can make a call or two, and boom, they got access. Because life really is about access and options. If you think about it, whenever you've had access and options, you've typically been more happy in life, and you've been more satisfied. But it's when you are denied access or you're denied options, is when things go a little awry, right? So so my thing was like to do this, to continue to create opportunities. And even when like I know I'm totally connected in the city of Houston when it comes to politics and all that type of stuff. I don't just know all of the major players who run this city. They know me. They got my number. I got their number. If I need to make a move, boom. I call the people direct. I don't call no assistants and all that type of stuff. I call the mayor. I call the chief of police. I call the fire chief if I have to, the commissioner, the judge, whoever, But I realize that wherever you lay your head, you gotta absolutely know the players and be totally connected, because you never know when you have to make something move. You know what I'm saying? And get something done. So I totally respect that response that you just gave. About being a director, because a director do have more power and also more longevity, and they're always working. Whereas oftentimes actors, no matter how good they are waiting on a good script, or they're waiting on a call, right? A director don't always have to be good.
No, it's not based on a look. It's not a look. It's
not
just good
look,
work. Right. It's good work that he's sitting there, and sometimes he's not even a TV director. Is not even a director. A TV director is just a person to make sure the actors are going left or right. A TV director is not a director. Only film directors are. But you knew that.
Yeah. So, man, I'm totally like thankful, man, for you coming on the show.
Appreciate you, brother.
And we absolutely have to stay in contact. And I knew that you had jokes and shit, but I didn't know that they was coming. I didn't know that they was coming at per second. Like, I didn't know they were coming at per minute, like Corey Holcomb jokes.
Yeah, we had fun, and I like the idea that we didn't know each other than that day or whatever that hour was we worked together. Yeah. But I will say, I haven't done a lot of these, and I will say this is the greatest, working with someone that is good as what you would want them to be, that they turn out to be even better. And I appreciate those dynamic questions. I had no idea. Sometimes when you're uncomfortable with people, you try to have them send things like you asked me before, is anything off limits? Nothing is ever off limits with you, brother. The way you are doing what you do, I will recommend people to you because you did your homework. But not only that, it's not even about homework. It's about asking interesting questions. I want to see this podcast go as big as you want it to go. And somewhere in there, I need to either talk to you later about some other ideas and endeavors I'm involved with. And it's been my pleasure, brother. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I appreciate that, King. I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Extraordinaire Raw Fegan.
Yay! Thanks, Willie D. Blessings, bro.
No more talk.